The way I want Hawk to have indigestion and diarrhea for at least 3 solid months for all of this. Hey guys, it's your girl Aisha, aka Geek XX Chic, and we're back with another reaction to Cobra Kai. We're now on to episode 3 of season 3, which is called Now You're Gonna Pay. So that line is rather famous from the first movie. It might have been repeated again in the third, but I know I distinctly remember it from the first movie because that's the one that literally I know line for line. And that was a line that actually was repeated twice. It was by Johnny first. He said that to Daniel on the night of Halloween, where Daniel decides to get a little revenge. But anyhow, we are now into the thick of season 3. We've got Miguel, who has gotten the prognosis that he may not walk again, and he's got a lot of mixed emotions, understandably, about that diagnosis. Johnny is feeling pretty badly about this whole thing, not to mention he's lost his dojo now and realized that he was bamboozled by Kreese yet again. And we've got Daniel, who's kind of struggling a bit with the whole work-life balance situation. And then we have Kreese, who's working with the new Cobra Kai students and of course just fully filling their minds with the same horrible, hateful, twisted messaging that he gave to all of his Cobra Kai back in the day. So I'm ready to jump into this episode, but before I do, if this is your first time to my channel, welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for coming. Hopefully you like it and you will think of hitting that thumbs up button. It helps a lot with the algorithm, which means a lot to me. And if you've been here before, thank you for coming back. Hopefully this time you'll think about hitting the subscribe button if you haven't already and joining the fam. We're on a march to 10K and we would love to have you. All right, that out of the way, guys, let's get into episode 3 right about now.
Forgiveness of thyself.
You need to do that.
Bullshit.
Of course, Johnny.
Johnny, I'm in the middle of a
Ew!
Wang can still get tang. Nice.
Ew!
Forgive me, Father.
Precisely.
For what?
He deserved that. Listen, the Lord believes in justice and dealing out some holy arse kickings when required too, Mkoy.
Empanadas. No empanadas. It's our table, homie.
The fact that a black person felt the need to say something that he knows is racist. Like, it just never, it blows my mind when people who've been through their own crap turn around and do it to other people. Like Hawk.
You looking at newbie? You okay, man?
Oh, Robby, I don't know what to say to you. On the one hand, you should never turn away from when you see injustice happening, but in prison, I don't know. I think I just keep my head down.
The Russos.
I'm sorry, you're banned for life. Please turn your ass around and take your boba and leave. Bye.
I heard sales weren't going so well over here. Guess that happens when you put kids in comas, am I right? Really?
Speaking of putting people in comas.
Is that from Tori?
Oh, yeah. It's really not that bad.
Yeah.
Kind of makes me look tough.
Good attitude.
She's the one who decided to go crazy.
Tori's had a rough life.
Not an excuse.
You know, her mom's sick and...
Everybody's got a sob story.
Exactly.
Doesn't give you a right to be a bully.
Period.
Just want to help.
Pretty sure you've done enough, princess.
Speaking of hospitalizing people.
Be a better person.
I already tried that. I put everything I had in
For like
these
5 minutes, Johnny. You gotta be consistent.
You don't do the right thing because it always works out.
Ugh.
You do the right thing because it's the right thing to do.
Preach, Pastor.
The detention center will let you in if you're accompanied by a member of the clergy, so how about we meet there tomorrow? Why not ask your stepdad to help out? He's still loaded, isn't he?
If there was ever a time to swallow your pride, even for the asshat that's your stepfather, this would be it. But I get it. I mean, being in debt to that old fart sucks.
It's not even a belated Secretary of State gift.
They prefer executive assistant.
Oh, do they?
Look,
Thank you for mansplaining that.
That is the most Goomba thing you've ever said.
Hey, take it easy, okay? That's not your word. That's our word.
Is it though?
I don't know. But still, I didn't like
The
you.
way they're having a fight over cultural appropriation. I can't.
Cole got Diona to convince the manufacturers to cut ties with LaRusso. The next few weeks, Daniel's contract's gonna be voided.
Get out of our dealership. We'll never sell to you.
okay, you're lost.
Thank you. That's a nice little challenge. We're going to overcome it and come out even stronger. You know why? Because slimy people do not succeed.
Thank you so much for bringing out the cheerleading team. They are definitely helping to attract
You
customers.
think?
But I thought you were a feminist. Oh, I'm a sex-positive feminist. Our bodies are an expression.
Like she said. Besides, these girls knew why they were coming. They had absolutely every choice not to or to come fully clothed. Some girls like the attention, and that's perfectly fine. Yes! Take it all in. But she didn't think it would get some titties. I'd have to give him a tip for that alone.
They're literally using Miguel as their poster child. He's not Miyagi-Do. They think they can get away with that? They won't.
Go home. You have to think, how sad is your life if you're literally just following around the people that you hate so you can find reasons to hate? Like, there's the bottom, and then that's where that is.
I noticed you didn't fill out the part about any prior arrests.
Mm-hmm.
This is just formality. No one's perfect.
Right.
Which charge?
Assault and battery. And willful destruction of property. And a year ago, I was arrested for assaulting a minor.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Johnny. Someone should give him the whole, interviewing 101. It's one thing to build a repertoire with your interviewer, but you should never be so comfortable that you talk too much.
We love you, Miguel. Thank you, Samantha. This car wash will be going on this evening.
Poor Robby. He just feels like everyone's leaving him.
She got a taste for that one shot, though.
Okay.
Thinking maybe she'd be drinking that dark roast next.
Really? Can we keep using food references? Is this cute? And the other problem when you're in juvie or prison is that it never stops. This is not a ring. This is not school where someone's going to come help you. They're there all day, every day.
We ain't done with you yet.
Do you feel stronger now? Do you feel like a man?
Did you plug it in?
You said it was wireless.
Yeah, wireless as in... Never mind. You got anything else in there besides...
The former
your
tech
useless
support
crap?
person in me just had an aneurysm.
I got a 93 Dodge Caravan.
Really? 93, you say? It's just... Take a look at the...
He literally has the blue book. That's how old it is.
I don't own anything valuable.
Then I guess you better find someone who does.
He's encouraging you to commit crime. But sadly, we don't necessarily have top-tier people who often run pawn shops, sadly.
See, I say we go visit Cole and show him a little Jersey justice.
Okay, no, this is what got us into trouble.
My mom had this station wagon. It was such a piece of junk.
I love that they had to run to start it. Y'all kids don't even know about that stick shift life.
Danielson must follow passion. Man,
That's a terrible impression.
the goal was never to be the #1 auto dealer in the valley.
That's just the byproduct.
I love that we did it together. And I don't want to lose it, but the writing's on the wall.
Is it? You're so quick to give up. I mean, I get it though. Daniel is like no backup plan. I'm assuming he's got some level of savings, but I love that point that they brought up though about how if you work in your passion and actually genuinely love it, then the success follows naturally. You don't even have to put the effort into being the best at whatever. If you're passionate, that will resonate with the right people. Yep.
Oh, shit.
Every day.
Your bed? I had no idea.
All day.
Hey, does it say who's visiting me? Lawrence. John.
You look so hopeful. Oh, Johnny, you're such a bastard. Aren't you too old for that?
Gender pay gap.
Edward Asner. It hurts more and more.
Your son and your students talk about a role model. No.
But Miguel doesn't deserve what happened to him, and I need to make that right.
Yeah, with my money.
That's what it takes.
Hey, but at least I stuck around.
Yeah, sticking around being a bully isn't much better than leaving. But I'm trying to
Thank
do
you.
better.
Actually, leaving would have been better.
I didn't get where I am because I cared about my reputation. Get
He's
the
also
hell out of
really old. What has he got to lose? It's not like he's working. What's so interesting is that his stepfather doesn't even realize that he's alone. There's no one but the people who work for him because he's like this. I completely agree with that, actually. I would have probably taken a longer walk and taken a few more things. Why would you leave the money with the tiniest kid ever? Like, come on. This kid's like 95 pounds soaking wet. And also, it's just general rule of thumb. You don't leave one person alone with the money.
We'll make sure Miguel knows this is from Cobra Kai. Come on, guys.
It was on the news, so he'll know the truth. The way I want Hawk to have indigestion and diarrhea for at least 3 solid months for all of this.
I want you to know that I'm going to treat this place with the utmost respect.
You're never going to step foot in here as an owner, sir. It's beautiful. It's a work of
I
art.
don't understand. Are you selling me the dealership or not?
Right? Like, I'm sorry, what does the middle finger mean to you in your language?
Well, there's no turning back now.
Please. I'm sure there's
better
other
work.
people who could have bought that dealership if it wasn't
Yes.
that asshat. Or sorry, what was it that Anush said? Douche clown?
Cobra Kai took the money and
They kicked the fucking shit out of me.
That's okay, but I'm sorry. Some kids just really do inspire you to violence. It's like you actually want to do something really bad.
He needs you. Please
But his son needs him.
pray with us.
Like, I understand her plea and it's beautiful and all.
Okay, I'll stay.
And this is why. This is why. Always, Johnny. Like, you had one bloody thing to do and was to show up for your son. Miguel's surgery ain't happening right now. You could have come back. Visiting is like, what, half an hour tops? Oh, I remember the scene annoyed me the first time around. I was like, really, Johnny?
Just give him a little more time, okay?
One job. One thing.
He's not coming. I knew it.
I'm sorry. Sorry, Robby. Poor Robby.
He won't. He's out of town.
We've got the music. Arigato gozaimasu. I'm going to go to Tokyo one day. It's gonna happen. And Okinawa. And that's where we end. Daniel taking matters into his own hands. Why? Because it's not over till it's over. That was episode 3, which was called Now You're Gonna Pay. And yeah, another great episode. Seeing kind of the fences start to mend a little bit between the rift that is, Miyagi-Do versus Cobra Kai, to some extent, of course, especially with Miguel. Miguel's definitely going through a very poignant time with dealing with his injuries, but also just having all this time sitting in the hospital, his future as far as the way it's going to be going forward, hanging in the balance. These kind of things really give you a reality check and a bit of a shake. And in his case, I think he's really starting to think over how much of what he's been doing and the thoughts he's been having and the training he's been getting, like how much of this has really been beneficial to him, how much of this is really who he is and who he wants to be going forward. And again, I love that there was so many gems. This show is so good with lines and speeches that really are just life lessons. And one of them, of course, when Sam was visiting him and said straight up, everyone's got a sob story, but that doesn't give you an excuse to be a bully, right? It's true that some people are definitely gone through more than other people, but there are people who've been through hardships that most of us cannot even fathom, and yet they still find it in their hearts to be kind, to be gentle, to be empathetic, to be caring, to give to others. Like, they have all of that in them. And like I said in the last episode, I've also seen people, who have all the money and access and privilege, and they're still cruel and they're still bullies, right? So it's not a matter of money. It's not a matter of how easy your life was. And again, just because, just because Tori's trials have been related to the fact that she's got a sick mom and she doesn't have a lot of financial access, that doesn't mean that her trauma is the only type that exists, if that makes sense, right? People with money still go through things. As we saw, Johnny, he went through being bullied constantly by the man who was supposed to be his stepfather. The emotional trauma that causes. And I mean, we're not going to sit there and start, I don't like the whole idea of, what's the word they say, trauma comparisons, right? Because I don't think you can do that. But the point is, like Sam said, we all have baggage. We all have things that have happened to us that could shape us for the better or the worse, depending on how we choose to respond to it. Tori is choosing to take out the terrible things that have happened to her by being terrible to other people. And the sad thing is she doesn't realize that will never bring her peace. That's just going to continue to bring more terrible things into her life. She doesn't feel any better after any of those things. I know she doesn't, but she's on this path because it's a habit. But you can see that you can also turn that around. You can be a better person. You can choose to do better with your knowledge. So that was a great message for this episode. And then of course we saw with Bobby talking to Johnny, talking to him about how, yes, okay, you're hitting a rock in the road. Again, another great expression around, you don't do the right thing because you know it's going to work out. You do the right thing because it's the right thing, period. Right? Johnny he was on the right path. He was doing the right thing as far as improving the way that he was living his life, but it's got to be a lifestyle going forward, right? It's like if you try to lose weight, right? If you do all the right things like exercise, change your diet, etc., and you only do it for a while, you're going to see some results. But if the first time you hit a plateau or the first time you have a whatever, you might have had something that goes on and you go on a bender and maybe gain 2-3 pounds back. If you give up and go right back to your old ways, you're going to be, oh, it didn't work. It's like, well, no, it didn't work because you didn't stay consistent, right? If you want to be healthier going forward, you got to live a healthy lifestyle. And it's the same thing here with Johnny. He's got to learn that if he really wants to be a better person and do better, it's a lifestyle. It's not just a trend that he does waiting for the returns. And so that's the lesson he's learning slowly. And I think he understands that. I mean, I think he just wants that feeling back. He felt good about himself and Cobra Kai and his students. And now he's hit that bump in the road, but he can't overcome it. He just has to start making better decisions. Starting with picking his child for once. Oh, I ranted off about it during the episode, but honestly, it just frustrates me to no end that Johnny consistently puts Robby at the bottom of his priority list. That will never improve as a relationship until Johnny learns to change that. It's harder. I get it. It's a lot harder to go for the relationship that he knows is going to be harder. He's going to have so much work with Robby. Robby is going to have a lot of trust issues with him, but if he would just stay consistent, Robby would Robby would eventually start to trust him again, and those walls would start to come down. But he can't. Every time he tries to give his dad just a little bit of an inch to prove himself, we have a situation like this where he doesn't even show up for, like I said, an appointment that would have maybe taken half an hour, 45 minutes tops. He could have gone and then come back to the hospital. The only answer for what Miguel's grandma was saying to him there is just say, listen, I really want to be here for Miguel, but I have an appointment to meet my son and it's very important too. I'm going to go take care of him and I'll be back. I'm telling you, there's no way that Miguel's grandma would have been like, no, our son's more important. Like, she would have been like, yes, go take care of your son. But he just, oh, well, and everything was Robby. So frustrating. But as I said, theme of the series thus far is poor Robby. You completely understand why he just keeps getting more and more disillusioned with the world and life. You know, what's going on in juvie with him being bullied. I mean, it's just like, oh my gosh, poor kid. He just can't seem to catch a break left, right, or center. And then finally, I really liked the line that came in about how, with the flashback to Mr. Miyagi, telling Daniel that, you know, when you have the vision of what you want and you hold that vision in your heart or in your mind and you make that happen in real life, you're going to succeed. It's going to be perfect no matter what. And of course, we saw Daniel struggling right now because of the backlash of the whole fight situation, but it's not all lost yet. It's not over till it's over. So thankfully, he didn't sell to that douche canoe. He's such a jerk. But he does have to come up with something else. And we see now that he headed over to Japan to deal with the situation on his own because, like, again, it said in the episode, like, Daniel became successful as a car salesman and with his dealership, etc., because what he does comes from a genuine love of cars and people being happy because of the car that they bought or drive. And that's what people resonate with, and that's what people go away with. And it has nothing to do with trying to be the best or trying to be sleazy or trying to, like, get one over on anybody. So he just needs to go back to that and remind himself of why he does this and why it's important. And that's really what leads you down the path. And even if it means he may have to, I mean, we know it's not going to happen, but even if it meant that he has to, like, close down the dealership and start over, he would at least know to start from a place of passion, right? Someone who's that passionate about something genuinely, even if they hit a rock in the road, they will find a way to come back again. So again, good episode, amazing. Like I said, lots of really good lines and drops in this episode. Love watching it as usual. Hope you enjoyed watching along with me. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up and we will see you in the next episode.